All right, today we're going to pull back the curtain on something that, powers pretty much every single thing you buy, use, and experience, but it almost always goes completely unnoticed. We are talking about operations management, the hidden engine that makes our modern world tick. To really get it, let's start with something simple, something you probably have in your closet right now.
So, think about the last t-shirt you bought, maybe from one of those fast fashion places. How in the world did it go from just an idea to raw cotton, to a factory, and then somehow end up in your hands in just a few weeks, all for a price that's frankly shockingly low? It kind of feels like magic, right? But it's not.
The answer is a really powerful system called operations management, or OM for short. It's the art and the science of getting things done efficiently and effectively. It's the how behind pretty much everything we touch.
So how do companies even begin to wrap their heads around these massive, super complex systems? Well, every great operation, and I mean every single one, starts by answering a really basic question. What are we trying to be the best at?
You see, operations managers are always focused on 5 core goals. Do you want to be known for quality, like a high-end luxury car? Or is it all about speed, like a pizza delivery that promises to be there in 30 minutes? Maybe it's dependability, being the airline that is never late. Or flexibility, being able to switch up your products on a dime. Or is it all about cost, offering the absolute lowest price out there?
Now, here's the kicker. It is nearly impossible to be the absolute best at all 5 of those things at the same time. Why? Well, because they're often in a game of tug of war. For example, getting the absolute highest quality usually means more expensive parts and taking more time, which totally works against the goals of speed and low cost. You have to make choices. You have to make strategic trade-offs. You got to pick your lane. I mean, just take a look at Hon Hai, the company that builds electronics for huge names like Apple. Their chairman doesn't mess around. He's blunt about it. Their entire operation, everything they do, is built around one single thing: crushing costs. That's it. That's their secret sauce.
And then you've got the complete opposite end of the spectrum. Four Seasons hotels, they're not competing on price at all. They compete on quality. Their whole philosophy is to make their service so ridiculously good that that becomes their competitive advantage, which lets them charge a premium. So you see, 2 totally different goals which lead to 2 completely different, highly specialized operations. Hung Hai is all about cost, Four Seasons is all about service. Neither one could survive trying to be the other.
Okay, so once you've got your main goal picked out, how do you actually build the system to make it happen? Let's get into the nuts and bolts, the core process of how stuff is actually made and delivered.
Every single operation, and I mean from a tiny local bakery to a global car company, can be broken down using this one super simple model. You take inputs, things like flour, water, heat, you put them through a transformation process, in this case, baking, and you get an output, a fresh loaf of bread. It seems almost too simple, but this input, transformation, output model is the fundamental building block of everything.
Now, when you start stringing these little models together, from, say, the cotton farm to the t-shirt factory to the clothing store, that's what we call a supply chain. The easiest way to think about it is like a pipeline. Materials and products just flow right through it, starting with sourcing the raw stuff, then making it into a product, and finally delivering it right to the customer.
And the story of Dell Computers is just a brilliant example of how powerful supply chain design can be. Back in the 90s, Dell decided, you know what, we're going to skip the retail stores and sell our computers directly to people. By cutting that one huge step out of the pipeline, they slashed their costs, they got way closer to their customers, and they basically turned the entire PC industry on its head. So designing the perfect system is one thing, but actually running it day in and day out, that's a whole different challenge. And that's where planning and control come into play. Just look at the massive difference on this chart. It's wild. A company like Britvic Soft Drinks ships over 200 truckloads of drinks a day during a summer heat wave, but then that number just plummets to less than half of that after Christmas. That's the real challenge of planning and control. How on earth do you build an operation that can handle those insane swings in demand?
Well, to manage that kind of flow, there are 2 basic ways of thinking about it. Let's use a restaurant. A push system is like a buffet. The kitchen just makes a ton of food based on what they think people will want and pushes it out there. A pull system, on the other hand, is like ordering off a menu. The kitchen only makes your specific meal after you, the customer, pull that order through the system. This pull idea is actually the whole foundation of modern techniques like just-in-time manufacturing, which is all about cutting down waste.
And whether you're pushing or pulling, you need tools to keep track of all the moving parts. One of the absolute classics is the Gantt chart. As you can see right here for this custom staircase project, it's just a simple, visual way to schedule out every single task and see exactly what needs to happen and when it needs to happen. It's a project roadmap.
But here's the thing. The job is never really done. The final, and maybe the most important piece of the operations management puzzle is the relentless, never-ending quest for improvement.
You see, great operations don't get better by accident. They improve like a detective solving a case, using structured methods like this one, the DMAKE cycle. First, you define the problem. Then, you measure everything. You gather your evidence. You analyze the data to find the root cause. Then, you improve the process to fix it. And finally, you put a control in place to make sure the problem stays fixed for good. It's a system for solving problems permanently.
And this leads us to one of my absolute favorite parts of OM. It's called fail-safing. Basically, designing things to prevent you from messing up. You know when the ATM beeps at you so you don't forget your card? Or those special indented trays for surgical tools so a doctor can't accidentally leave one behind? That's not a random feature. That's brilliant operations management designed right into the world around us.
So, after all that, what's the big takeaway? Why should you care about any of this stuff?
It's this. Operations management is the invisible architecture that structures our entire world. From the quality of your morning coffee, to how fast your package gets delivered, to the price of the phone in your hand, it is all shaped by the very principles we've just talked about.
So now that you have this new OM lens, I'll leave you with a challenge. As you go about the rest of your day, what hidden systems, what invisible operations will you start to see all around you?